How's it going, guys? My name is Chris, but you can call me Holmes, and today we're taking a look at the Corridors of Time puzzle and talking specifically about the community's reaction to the quest being solved, the reward we got, and all the positive and negative feedback that has come from the puzzle and what we've actually received. Now, first and foremost, before I go too far into this, I do want to say that the puzzle is one of the best things that's happened to Destiny as a game in a while. I think it's very exciting to see thousands of people come together and spend thousands of hours cumulatively on trying to solve this puzzle and find out what the reward was going to be. It's brought the community together, it's gotten more people playing Destiny, it's gotten more people excited about Destiny as a game, and I think that all of these positives that have come from the puzzle and what it's actually done, the side effects of the puzzle, far outweigh the constructive criticism and feedback that we're going to give in today's video as well. With that being said, we're going to talk about these now. We're going to talk about the feedback that I have and the observations I've made and what could maybe be done better in the future. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about with this Corridors of Time puzzle, I would suggest looking up a video on YouTube. I'm sure there's others that have made some about what the Corridors of Time puzzle was and how it works. Essentially, that puzzle's been solved, and in the end, solving that puzzle has gotten us the Bastion. Now, the reward in itself, we're going to talk about the 3 points about what we actually got in the end, and there's 3 key points I'd like to talk about with this video. Those are the proximity of the actual reward we were going to get in the end versus how early we actually got it, the expectations that everybody had for what the reward was really going to be, and finally the communication that came from Bungie around this whole thing, and why I think things played out the way that they did. We'll start with proximity. We'll start with the proximity. So, the Bastion was originally meant to release on the 28th of January. As of when I'm recording this video, that's only 6 days away from now. The Corridors of Time quest was solved and completed in the end on the 20th of January. It's only 2 days ago. And a lot of people's frustration and disappointment has been based around the fact that the Bastion was on the roadmap to come out on the 28th, and in the end, as of right now, the quest is available to everyone, so people have only gotten this gun 6 to 8 days early compared to when it was going to release. I share the same mindset, or I have the same opinion that of the thousands of people that got together and all the time and effort that went into solving the puzzle, 1 week early for a gun, on average 1 week early for a gun, it's not worth the effort that went into solving the puzzle. Like I said, I don't think that the puzzle itself is bad. I think the puzzle was amazing. But the time and effort that went into solving it, I don't feel it's worth the reward that we've been given. Given that we're also going to get the reward regardless based on what the roadmap said by the 28th. That's going to feed into communication later on and what we're talking about there. But I do tend to agree. I think that the reward could have been something bigger. Or something different. And that leads us into our next point, which is expectation. So, people didn't expect Bastion to be the reward. Nobody thought Bastion was going to be the reward because it was on the roadmap. Generally, when you place out a roadmap to the community, people see that as these are the hard set dates that things are going to drop. Things are going to become available on this date and this date and this date. And that is, it's a calendar. You set a date and you know when things are going to come out. Because of that, people didn't think the Bastion was going to be the reward. I certainly didn't, and I know the vast majority of the people that I've spoken to didn't expect it to be the Bastion either. That expectation being set by the roadmap is something that it's an unintentional trap that the community has fallen into, and that's why I say it was an expectation set by Bungie primarily, but also by us. We didn't expect it to be the Bastion because we saw it on the roadmap, and nobody really contemplated the possibility that this was going to be an early unlock for a gun, as opposed to an entirely new exotic reward, or some kind of reward instead. Now, the reason that I say we're responsible for setting this expectation too, is mainly because some people have habits, including myself. I did look at this, and I'm guilty of this. This is my own fault too. I take responsibility for this in my own head. People have looked at information through LightGG and taken the information there and allowed themselves to speculate what the reward was going to be. If you take a look at LightGG, actually, as of right now, I don't think it is available, but there is a classified item on LightGG under Season 9 Exotics, and when you clicked on that item, it was classed as a heavy item. As of now, I think it's actually been changed to a dummy item or a placeholder or something like that, but prior to the Bastion quest being solved, people saw this and thought, it's going to be a new heavy. Maybe it'll be the Dark Drinker or the Raise Ladder or something along those lines. Obviously, it's not. But because of that information and so many people seeing that and speculating that it was going to be something else, that has led a lot of people to think that it wasn't going to be this as a reward. Overall, I think that a lot of the responsibility for expectation does fall on Bungie's shoulders purely because of the roadmap. I think the roadmap has misled a lot of people into thinking what the reward was going to be. But some of that responsibility does fall on ourselves as well for looking at the roadmap and expecting it not to be an early access item, and for looking at data mining information, which is something that I am definitely guilty of, and I have learned from this. Now, the final point we're going to talk about is communication, and if anybody from Bungie is watching, I don't want it to sound like I'm putting any words in Bungie's mouth as to what this is. I'm only speculating. I'm hoping to see something from Bungie about why things were done the way they were and what they've learned and what will be done different in the future, because I'm sure that this has been a learning experience for a lot of people from Bungie and as players. But I want to talk about why I think things were done the way they were. Now, the Corridors of Time puzzle was looking at the scope and the scale of this, was a massive project. There was so much data in this puzzle that we had to unravel to find the final solution. It took so much time for us to solve, and I'm sure it took a long time for Bungie to create. And that is why I think Bungie kept things quiet. I feel like Bungie kept quiet about the final reward for solving the Corridors of Time puzzle purely because if people knew that the reward was going to be early access to a gun for 1 week or from whenever we solved the puzzle, significantly less people would have tried to solve the puzzle, and it would have taken even longer for people to solve. Even longer then than the date that the gun was actually going to release. Some people may have even thought, if this is going to take more than a week of work, I'm not even going to worry. We're just going to wait until the 28th. So I feel like communication was minimal about this because Bungie wanted to protect the puzzle and let people see more value in the puzzle and actually continue to work on it. I'm not going to lie. I think that if I had seen that the result was going to be the Bastion, I would have been less excited about the puzzle being finished, but I would have still loved to have taken part in finishing the puzzle in itself. With that being said, I can absolutely see people that knew, if they knew the result was going to be a Bastion early access reward, less people would have wanted to contribute, less people would have wanted to finish it. And for a week's effort to get a gun a week early and people burning themselves out, Glad is taking a break, for example. Sweatsicle slept on stream. Other people have burnt themselves out doing this as well. I think Zoe even did like almost a 24-hour stream or some insane amount of hours. Some people really burnt themselves out. Now, that's no fault of the people that made the puzzle. Those people made that choice to stay up that late. But people put in a lot of effort to solve this puzzle. And if they'd known what the reward was going to be, I think that less effort would have been put in by a lot of people. Okay, so these are the things that I think Bungie could do better in the future and things to keep the community on their side when it comes to quests and events like this in the future. These are like the biggest key points that I've kind of taken away from this and things that I think Bungie could do to keep everybody on side. The biggest thing out of all of this is to make the reward match the effort. The Bastion being released a week early is not, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, not worthy of the time and effort that went into solving the puzzle. Again, don't want to discredit the puzzle as a whole. Amazing quest, very, very cool. But being given a gun a week early, I don't feel is enough of a reward for what was done. Especially the man hours, mostly the hours spent trying to solve this. The second part is expectation and communication as a whole. Putting a reward on the roadmap, but then hiding how you're supposed to receive this, or completely misdirecting how you're going to get the questline for this, is... I can understand why people feel a little bit betrayed or a little bit, like people have been kept in the dark about this. Being told that you're going to receive a questline on the 28th, but not being told there's a chance you're going to get it early, it's pretty big. It's a lot for people to expect one thing and then be pulled in another direction. And granted, again, like I said, that we set our own expectations about what the weapon was going to be. But having a roadmap out there that generally is a calendar, it's like an appointment for content. If you have a calendar that says this gun will be available on the 28th, but you don't tell people how they're going to get it early, possibly, it's tough. It's definitely, in this scenario, I can understand that it would have ruined the puzzle if people knew what the result was going to be. It would have stopped people working on it almost entirely, I feel. And that feeds back into our first point, which was reward versus effort. So communication, reward versus effort. That's pretty much it. That's my biggest pieces of feedback in the future. And outside of that, I think this whole experience has been, look, it's been a learning experience for Bungie, I'm sure. It's been a great experience for people working on the puzzle. It's helped so many people to grow their communities on Twitch, which is really, really cool. But I know that doesn't affect Destiny as a whole. I'm just talking about that from my perspective. It's been great to have new people come by and ask questions about it. It's reinvigorated. Not that I'm bored with Destiny. I love Destiny. It's been a lot of fun to play, but it's just brought so much more passion into this game for me. Seeing puzzles like this come out. My brain now is just like, have they hidden anything else? Are there any other hidden gems in Destiny or hidden quests and puzzles and things that we just haven't found yet? Where's the 15th wish, man? Look, wrapping up this video at the very end, I'd like to hear your thoughts and feedback on this. I would love to see what you guys think about this whole thing. Even if you just say you agree with what I've said or if you disagree with what I said. Most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough because I've seen so much of it on forums, on Twitter, even replying to people that work on the game. If there's anything in here in the comments that is abusive or angry and excessive swearing and not constructive at all, I will not hesitate to delete your comment. This is a place for constructive adult communication or just clear communication at the very least about what you liked and disliked. I do not want to see anything bashing Bungie or bashing Destiny or targeting specific people because nobody deserves that. This is a time for feedback, a time for communication, and sharing what we've learned from this and sharing what we think could be done better. And that's what I think this video should be for. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening if you've been here the whole way through. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think about this as well. And until the next video, I'll catch you all real soon. Bye-bye.